what I'm about to tell you is not a theory. It is not speculation. It is a confirmed, documented plan that is already being assembled inside the walls of power in Washington. And the mainstream media is not connecting the dots for you. So I'm going to do it. 3 weeks ago, a reporter from PBS News asked Trump a direct question, a simple question. She asked, are you considering declaring a national emergency to take control of the 2026 midterm elections? And here's what Trump said. He looked at the reporter and said, and this is a direct quote, "Who told you that?" He did not say no. He did not say that's ridiculous. He did not say, I would never do that. He said, who told you that? Now, Illinois Governor Pritzker watched that clip and posted 5 words that should alarm every single American. He said, Donald, you're not denying it, and he is right, because today I'm going to show you that Trump is not denying it because there's nothing to deny. The plan exists. It has been confirmed by PBS News, The Washington Post, and Democracy Docket. It is a 17-page document, and the war in Iran is the key that unlocks it. By the end of this video, you will understand something that nobody in cable news is putting together. This war was not just about Iran's nuclear program. This war is about November 2026 and what happens to your vote. Okay, before we get into the plan, I need you to understand something about how power actually works. Because if you don't understand this, what I'm about to show you won't make sense. Here is the pattern. Write this down. Every leader in modern history who wanted to hold on to power longer than the law allowed, did the same thing. They found a crisis. And they used that crisis to say, we cannot have elections right now. It is too dangerous. We must be unified. The enemy is at the gates. Zelensky did it in Ukraine. The war with Russia gave him the legal justification to suspend the Ukrainian constitution and cancel elections. Trump watched this happen. And here's what nobody reported at the time. When Zelensky visited Trump in the White House, Trump turned to him and asked, hey, you can really do that? And Zelensky smiled and said, you like this, don't you? That exchange is confirmed. It is in the public record, and you need to hold that image in your mind as I walk you through everything else. Because that question, you can really do that. It's not the question of a president who is horrified by the idea. It is the question of a president who is taking notes. Okay, so now we understand the pattern. A leader needs a crisis to justify holding power. And Trump launched a war against Iran on February 28th. Does that make sense? Now let me show you the plan itself, because this is where it gets real. PBS News reviewed a 17-page document in full, not a rumor, not anonymous sources. A full 17-page draft executive order that is being circulated among Trump's closest allies and advisors. And here's what this document says. If the president declares a national emergency using foreign interference in American elections as a justification, he gains the power to do the following. First, he can require that every voter in America re-register for the 2026 elections. Every single voter starting over. If you miss the deadline, you cannot vote. Second, he can ban electronic voting machines entirely. Every machine in every county, in every state in America, gone. Third, he can ban mail-in ballots. The same ballots that 46 million Americans used in 2020. Fourth, he can require hand counting of every ballot in public. Do you understand what hand counting means for election timing? It means results could take weeks, months. And during that time, Trump remains in power as the results are disputed. An attorney who has known Trump since he was 15 years old confirmed on camera that this document has been circulating, quote, for a while now. And he said, and I want you to hear this carefully, he said, for anyone who has examined the evidence, we know that this emergency exists. This emergency, the Iran war, the foreign interference narrative, that is the key that unlocks the document. Now, here's what Trump said when PBS asked him directly about it. Who told you that? And then, I have never heard about it. But here's the problem with that denial. The document was dated April 12, 2025. 10 months before the Iran war started, Trump's own allies confirmed it was circulating, and Trump himself has already signed executive orders challenging mail-in voting and electronic voting machines. The exact same things. The 17-page document targets He has been building this plan piece by piece for over a year. And the Iran war just gave him the national emergency. He needs to activate it. Does that make sense? Now, I want to show you the connection that nobody in the media is making, because this is where the game theory gets disturbing. Think about the timeline very carefully. February 28, 2026, Trump launches Operation Epic Fury against Iran. The same night, he posts on Truth Social that Iran tried to interfere in the 2020 and 2024 elections to stop Trump. He posts this at 2:30 in the morning while bombs are falling on Tehran. Why is he thinking about American elections at 2:30 in the morning while a war is starting? Because the Iran war and the election plan are the same plan, okay? They are not separate events. The war creates an emergency. The emergency justifies the executive order. The executive order dismantles the voting systems that could remove him from power in November 2026. And then what happens? Let me show you what Trump himself said about this. Last August, before the war started, Trump made a comment that everyone treated as a joke. He said in front of reporters that he wished America had a rule like Ukraine, a rule where you cannot hold elections during wartime. Then Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth went on camera and said the United States is just getting started in Iran. And Trump himself said there are no time limits on this conflict. No time limits. Just getting started. No elections during wartime. Connect those three statements, and the picture is not a joke. The picture is a strategy. Now, I want to be very clear about something. Legal experts say Trump cannot simply cancel the elections. The Constitution does not allow it. States run their own elections. Courts would intervene immediately. And you know what? I agree with all of that. Trump probably cannot cancel the 2026 elections outright. But that is not what the plan is doing. The plan is not cancellation. The plan is chaos. The plan is confusion. The plan is making millions of voters re-register under impossible deadlines. Banning the voting machines that 90% of counties depend on, flooding the courts with litigation so that results are disputed for months. Creating enough uncertainty that when the results come in, if they ever do, they can be challenged, rejected, and fought over until the courts decide. And we know what the courts look like right now. Trump has appointed 269 federal judges. The Supreme Court has a 6-3 conservative majority. The entire judicial machinery is already in place. This is not conspiracy thinking. This is game theory. You look at the pieces already on the board and you calculate where they lead, and they lead here. Now, I want to talk to you directly because this is where I need you to understand why this matters for your life. Not for geopolitics, not for some abstract idea about democracy. For you personally. The 2026 midterm elections are the only constitutional check on everything that is happening right now. Every senator who pushes back on this war, every congressman who demands a vote, every oversight committee that could investigate what is being spent and why, all of that power sits in the Congress that gets elected in November 2026. If those elections are delayed, confused, disputed, or controlled, all of that oversight disappears. And here's what that means for you. 18 months of $110 oil prices with nobody in Congress fighting to end the war that's causing them. No oversight of the $1.5 billion per day this war is costing. No accountability for the decisions that are already affecting your grocery bill, your gas prices, and your retirement account. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. The Constitution does not have a political party. The right to vote does not belong to one side. Every American who believes in elections, and I mean every American, should understand what is being assembled right now in Washington. Okay, so let me give you my prediction. And I want to be very clear. This is game theory analysis based on confirmed facts. You will decide what to make of it. Prediction number 1. Before November 2026, Trump will declare a national emergency around election integrity using Iran's confirmed history of trying to interfere in American elections as the justification. This is not speculation. The 17-page document exists. His allies confirmed it. The legal framework from his 2018 National Emergency Declaration is already in place. Prediction number 2. That national emergency will trigger a wave of executive actions targeting mail-in voting, voting machines, and voter registration systems. Dozens of states will sue. The courts will be flooded. And while the litigation is ongoing, the election infrastructure will be in chaos. Prediction number 3. Trump will use the ongoing war in Iran to argue that changing leadership during a national security crisis is dangerous. He will invoke Zelensky, he will invoke wartime unity, and his allies in Congress and media will amplify that message 24 hours a day. The only question is whether enough Americans see the pattern before November arrives. Here is what I want you to think about. Every single piece of this plan was put in place before the Iran war started. The 17-page document, the executive orders on voting, the legal framework, the judicial appointments, and then the war started and the emergency needed to activate everything else suddenly existed. History does not repeat exactly, but it rhymes. And right now, it is rhyming very loudly. Think about that. If you want me to go deeper on what the courts can actually stop and what they cannot, let me know in the comments. Because the legal fight that is coming is the most important story of 2026, and it is only just beginning,